Live. This is Thursday, August 22nd. Mary's got a very excited dog, so please excuse the extra participation today.
Yes, talk for a little bit, Mary Ellen. Let me try to deal with her. Hold on.
Yeah. So Rosie wants to participate today. There's somebody, as I put in the chat, somebody's working outside, and the dog wants to get out there and help. And so she's got a bit of a loud bark. And when Larry has to be right there in the living room, the dog can make quite a fuss. So I don't think that there's a whole lot he can do other than try to cuddle with her, but he'll be back. Hi, Linda. Rosie, what a sweetheart. I haven't met Rosie yet. Hope to sometime this year. But he goes for the big dogs. He used to have a bulldog. Oh, there's Larry. He's back.
Oh, Mary Ellen, let me call back in just a minute. I'll call you back. Talk to her for a second.
Okay. I don't know what happened. I thought he was back. Oh, I guess because Rosie started barking up a storm again. All right. So Larry's home. He's been busy working today, actually. We are so very, very grateful for the people who have. Michael, that's funny. Rosie would probably serve us better in Congress than the squad. Wow. Certainly more willing to protect us. That's for sure. I would say that Larry's busy working, and it's amazing to see somebody as sick as Larry sometimes is, and the amount of work that he continues to do, and the way he pushes himself. Oh my goodness, it's mind-boggling to me, the way he pushes himself and what he is able to accomplish. So, I mean, for crying out loud, look at the information he gets us. How exciting that was yesterday to hear that the immunity in perpetuity that Hillary has may not actually be able to hold, because if Comey did it while he was participating in illegal activity, I'm sorry about not getting noticed. I don't know what to do other than what I would suggest is unsubscribe and resubscribe again where the bell is solid gray and you get every notice. I mean, I've had the same trouble happening to me sometimes, and I don't know why that happens, but.
Okay, I'm back.
Yeah, hang on.
I think a little bit.
Yeah, YouTube does that sometimes, so yeah. And I'm finding now that it is getting harder and harder to find Larry's program immediately the very first 48 hours. So, but it'll be there.
All right.
If you friend me on Facebook, usually I'll get that up there, and then you can see it and share it. So.
All right, Mary Ellen, you know I'm here, right?
I know you're here. I was addressing
something
in the chat that we needed to address. So it's
all right, good.
You got it now.
All right, folks, I'm sorry about the trouble and confusion. I had to get some people to work on the oxygen machine, so without it, I'm in trouble. So they worked on it. That's what the confusion was. Today's Thursday. Go ahead, if you have questions, start sending them in now, so that we don't leave any, hopefully, unanswered. I have gotten information, I don't know if it's important to any of you, about the death of Epstein. There's part of it I can't tell you because of restrictions. But it is looking like, and this is going to confuse you a little bit, so please bear with me. It's looking like a murder but nobody did it. How's that? How's that for turning this thing up?
Murder, but no one did it?
But nobody did it. Now, I want to give y'all a hypothetical just to think about. The jury is still out, and Barr, you know, and they're working. But a significant amount of information has come in relative to the autopsy. And this is a hypothesis that I believe you need to think about. Let's put it that way. Now, this is my opinion. This is hypothetical for something for you to think about. But what if Epstein was murdered, but he was the one that arranged his own murder? And by that, I would say, what if, here again, hypothetically, what if he made the arrangements for the guards and everybody involved to sort of not do their jobs at the right time? Think about it.
Well, Larry, I've got a comment here in the chat. In South American prisons, gangs will order you to hang yourself, or they will go for your family.
Well, I don't think he was ordered by anybody to hang himself other than maybe himself. But anyway, the point being, that is something all of y'all need to think about. And of course, nothing that Barr releases. Now remember, in this case, in this hypothetical, which is going to be hard for people to believe, but in this case, technically he commits suicide. So it is a suicide. But he arranged it, and he arranged the 7 protocols that would be virtually impossible for all 7 to break down at the exact time. What if he arranged all of that to happen? And then that would explain also why 2 days before he changed his will. You see, we found out, or I found out, that by changing his will, what he actually did, believe it or not, folks, he facilitated a way for the girls and women now that were abused. He basically facilitated a fund for them to get damages from. Really? Believe it or not, that's what that did. Yes. So
we've got a comment here. So it's an assisted suicide.
It could be, if it's hypothetical, it's a hypothetical, of course, and yes, that would be kind of what you would call it.
Do you think he had a dead man insurance?
Don't know.
Sure what that is.
I don't know that. I don't know that. But I do know that the surprising will change that he made it easier for the girls or women now that were abused to get damages. Made it easier.
So is this like a deathbed conversion, that suddenly he has a sense of right and wrong and a conscience, that he tries to do something in the last 2 days to make it?
Mary Ellen, I have no idea. Will not even respond to that because I have no clue what was on his mind or what he was thinking about, or even if this hypothetical in the end holds up and continues to be true.
So somebody's suggesting murder by remote technology.
I don't know. I'm just telling you, according to the complete autopsy, not just the summary by the medical examiner, but according to the complete autopsy, there is reason to believe he did kill himself.
Why would he care to let them get the money?
Mary Ellen, I don't know.
I'm reading questions here.
I mean, to that person, I have no idea. I just know, in fact and indeed, what happened with that change in the will. Maybe he didn't even technically know he was doing that. Maybe he didn't realize by putting that trust together the way he did that it did provide an easier route. I don't know. I can't tell you.
Because everybody I'd heard was saying that was going to make it more difficult. But somebody is saying that's more plausible than anything mainstream media are feeding us. And somebody else says it's too convenient that the warden worked under Eric Holder.
Yep. You know, guys, this is another example, however he died, however it happened. This is another example of why we have to support President Trump through his reelection bid so that we can start reducing the control and size of federal government. They're everywhere. The federal government, if you think about it, is in everybody's life, all over the place, everywhere, everything we do. And it was not meant to be that way. And it's the fact that it is that way that allows this kind of evil cabal that I know to be the Progressive Council. It's what allows them to gain the power and the strength. And it's just a game of, with them, it's just a game of putting pawns in the right places. You get the right pawn in the right agency or in the right group. You control the group, you control the agency. Then if you control enough agencies, you control the government. They come at you. That's why our job is so daunting. That's why our job is so important. You know, sometimes, guys, I don't know if you do, but all too often of late, I keep having this reoccurring dream and standing in the middle of a trail. The bad guys are coming up the trail, as they've done time and time again. Except this time when I try to walk off the trail, I can't move. Every bone in my body wants to move, but I can't move. And then during that moment, in this dream, during the moment when I'm just about to panic, you know, I need to move, I need to get out, I need to get away, and I can't. Your senses become so intense. You can hear things you couldn't hear before, smell things you couldn't smell before, notice things you couldn't notice before. But you can't move. And then right before they come up and get me, I always seem to wake up. Now, that is in a lot of ways, I'm not trying to do dream psychology here, and I'm not making this up. This is just what I've been going through. But in a lot of ways, that's where we are today. You and I, all of us here on this program, we're kind of in a science fiction movie. We're living in the past. Today is the past. We live in the mindset of how things are supposed to be. But at the same time, we're living in the future, and we're seeing it come to fruition in the future. It's confusing. This nation is confused. Now, I checked yesterday. Law enforcement in Arkansas, new people signing up to become police officers in Arkansas is down 46% from just a year ago, down 46%. Places like Little Rock, they're down like 80% in recruits, and they've got tons of patrolman jobs that they don't have anybody to fill and can't get people to fill them.
Little Rock's down how much?
Like 80%.
I thought that's what you said.
Now, this is in 80% of the recruiting classes that they need to keep going. But think about it. You know, we have another case where a police officer was shot. I guess it's out in California, wherever. Thanks to the rhetoric, you know, they talk about Trump and his quote unquote hate speech causing all this racism or whatever they think it's causing. But yet they don't look at Antifa and all of those people and the anarchy and the stuff they're breeding is actually getting policemen shot. Literally getting people shot. And what do we do one day when any rational human being says, wait a minute, you want me to be a what? You want me to be a cop? Are you kidding me? And folks, we're getting close to that now. Now, a policeman does not get paid enough money to be walking around with a bullseye on his back or her back for the next outraged nutbag to shoot at. You know, and again, they're talking about all of these gun laws. And for some reason, this is back to being in that dream and can't move. I mean, it doesn't make sense. I can't move, right? I mean, they're coming, I need to move. My body's telling me to move, and I can't move. We're sitting here at a time when it makes no sense that the communities that have the most aggressive gun laws are the communities, or some of the communities, that are the most violent with the most gun crime. Now, why would you want to pass more gun laws if more gun laws does to America what it has done to Chicago and Baltimore? Why?
Because they want total control, Larry.
Well, yes. But I'm just saying, I know what the Progressive Council want. I know what the people that want to transform our form of government want. I know what they want. What I don't know is why in the world we, the people, would sit back and not see this. It makes no sense. Every citizen in America that has a minimum 5th grade education has lived more than 10 years on planet Earth should be able to see that it doesn't make sense where the biggest bunch of gun laws are people are getting shot more than any place else, and now you want to do it to the whole country. I know what the bad guys want. Bad guys are doing what bad guys do. That's what they do. What is eating us up today is where are the good, responsible Americans. We're sitting here today, folks, today, getting ready for the election in 2020, and every one of the major contenders for the Democratic primary for president, every one of them, are wishing and trying to talk us into a failed economy. They want it to fail, so that President Trump can't claim that we're doing great. Now, what that means is, folks, they want us to do bad. They want us to suffer and hurt, just so they can be president, or just so that they can get control of Congress. You know, that should be so visible. That should be so in everybody's face that even a numbnugget could know it. But they don't. They don't. And then we live today in the past. Well, some of you are saying, but now wait a minute, Larry, today is the present. Today is the past, the present, and the future. Every second you live today is the past, present, and future. Every one of them. Past is what we remember us being and what we want to continue being as a nation and as a people. The future is socialism, communism, or continuing on with our form of government. And present is both. We don't want the future of so.
Oh dear, we lost him again. It's 3:23. Shoot. Let's see if he figures out that we've lost him. I need to be able to. Hang on. If I take him out. We can't hear you, Larry. Larry, all right, I've got my cell phone. I'm texting him. Okay, he went off himself. All right. So it's strange. You know, after about 18 minutes, he gets kicked off. Every time. I don't know why. So, there we go. All right, now you're back.
All right, we're back. See, I think it's the same time over and over again. Just about the same time.
Yeah. Yep.
But anyway, the Democrats are literally just to defeat President Trump. They're willing to cause race riots in America, to literally cause violence between blacks and whites. Blacks and whites. They're literally willing to let tens and hundreds of thousands of illegal people into this country, knowing that some percentage of them are going to do criminal deeds, murder, etc. They're all criminals. In fact, they broke the law the way they're here. But they want them here. They want open borders. They don't want open borders, folks. Democrats don't want open borders. Are you kidding me? They don't. They want them open long enough for them to get in power. And then watch what they do to the borders.
They'd shut them down, wouldn't they? Because they were calling before.
They'll go back to where they were 5 years ago. Right now, they're just willing to have them open so that we can get Trump, or they can get Trump. It's all about getting President Trump, except for one thing that I've tried to warn y'all about. I've tried to warn you, and you're going to see it more and more every day now. It's not Trump they're trying to get. It's us. It's us. The whole problem President Trump causes the deep state, the Progressive Council, whatever you want to call them. The only problem Trump causes them is he literally represents us. He stands for us, with us. You say, well, no, he doesn't. Yeah, he does. What do you think he's doing with the trade deals? Why do you think they're being held up? He's not doing it just to make times hard on farmers or whomever that they claim this is hurting. President Trump is genuinely trying to get some kind of equity or fairness in our trade relationship with China and everybody else. And I assure you, it don't mean beans to him. He's got his billions, and it ain't gonna matter to him. He's doing it for us. He's doing it to help this country, us. And you see, that's the part the Democrats can't take, because the Democrats' whole existence, this whole new form of government that they plan to put us into, requires that we be a population of basically peons or slaves, whatever you want to call us. We are to be, in this new transformed way of life, nothing. We are to be nothings. Our children, our grandchildren, they're not to have any future other than the day they had today. As far as they're concerned, you know, what you do today, you'll do tomorrow. And what you do tomorrow, you'll do the next day. And it will never get any better until the day you're of no value anymore to the collective. And then they'll get rid of you. I'm sorry about Rosie there. God. Talk for a minute, Marion.
This whole business of getting rid of you, you know, when we look at what's happening with the socialized medicine in Canada, I was reading this morning about a very disabled fella, 41 years old, and they have decided that they are not going to pay for his care. And so they euthanized him at 41. I didn't read the whole article to find out what disability he had, whether he was ex-military or just what the deal was, but it was a disabled individual who'd been on welfare for help. And
I'm back.
He was a burden to society and burden to the medical system, so they ended it for him.
So anyway, guys, I'm just telling you, we're in this battle, whether we want to be or not. You're in it. You know, if I ask you this, I want you to chat it back, answer this question. How many of you would give me $10,000? $10,000 if I guarantee I'll save America from this transformation. How many of you will do it? I bet that chat room don't light up with people doing that. First off, I'm not really saying that because I really can't promise that. If I could, I would do it in a heartbeat, and I wouldn't ask any of you for a nickel if there was some way I could magically use a silver bullet that would stop all of this madness. I'd do it. But the problem is, if I ask you, the answer would be no. Now, most of you, it's easy to say no because you don't have it. You know, even if I wanted to, I couldn't do it. That's like me, Mary Ellen, and a bunch of us, we couldn't if we wanted to. But you see, we've become so jaded now. We have gone through so many scams on the internet that it's hard to even believe anybody anymore. Isn't it? Isn't it? I'll tell you something else. I'll bet you have not listened to anyone on the internet. No one on the internet. I guess, or even talk radio for that matter, that has told you for years and years and years things that were going to happen, and then they end up happening more than I have. I'll bet you haven't. And I include in that, you know, guys like Mark Taylor, a great guy, a good guy. But, you know, periodically he's been wrong in his interpretation of the signs or whatever he goes by. But this is the one place I can't brag about much, but I can boast about this. That most all of the things I have told you would occur have. And if they haven't, they're going to, they just haven't yet. Nobody, I believe, from all I've heard or all I've seen from all of y'all and the people you listen to and tell me about, nobody can be as accurate as I've been. Now, I cheat. I'm not accurate because I'm a guru. I'm not accurate because I'm a prophet. I'm not accurate because what my accuracy is based off of years and years and years, not even knowing I was doing it, but building a network of people that are in places that talk to me and give me information that they might not otherwise put out. But now, there are people out there with 250, 500,000 people that can't wait to hear this internet program every day. Not mine, some program where the guy's been off nearly all the time, been wrong. Here, we need 30,000 to 50,000 people to be with us, to join us on this program, to be trained like you are being trained. Yes, you're being trained.
And I'm going to add to that, Larry. Let me butt in, excuse me. Larry has taught so much over the last 3 years, and I know there have been some young people that didn't like hearing it. We've heard this before. But what I realize is in hearing the things that Larry says over and over, it gets drilled in so deep that it becomes a part of who we are. It becomes second nature to us to answer people with what we've heard from Larry. And it becomes our information because we hear it from Larry so often. And so it really is important to be here. There are things that he's saying that I remember he said 3 years ago, but you know, it's my story now as much as it is Larry's story, because I've heard it so many times that it just rolls off my tongue as easily Well, maybe not as easily, but it rolls off my tongue easily.
And let me assure you, folks, if y'all could have seen, all of you, when you first started with me, and if you could see what you knew then about politics, about all the stuff we talk about, if you could see what you really knew then versus what you know today, you would be astonished. You've all grown so much. So much. Yes, you're being trained. You're trained to be emissaries of the truth. You're being trained to be seekers of the truth. And you're being trained to be a speaker of the truth. There's too much stuff that's absolutely real. There's too much stuff that's absolutely for everybody to see, but nobody sees it. It's what I made you do with that deal trying to get you to watch CNN and that MSNBC for 24 hours. There's stuff to see there, but nobody sees it. They are telling lies. They're slandering the president. They're slandering us. They're damaging the country every single day, 3.78, 4.25 times every day over something. Every day. And they've got an audience. Thank God it's not as big an audience as they want it to be, but they've got an audience, and those people can't see it. They can't see it. They don't even know how to see it. They think because they say it, it's so. How many times have you heard me say to you, when it comes to matters of your family and your country, make somebody prove it. Don't believe anybody, including me. Make me prove it. That's why I tell you things that are coming. And that way when they come, guess what? I hoped I had proven to you that I am worthy of you being a part of our plan to try to save the country. I've tried to earn being worthy of telling you the truth.
We have a comment here. That assignment was torture. MS and mainstream media, blah, blah, blah.
But isn't it something, listener, that sent that? Isn't it amazing what you went through now because of what you know? It made it torture to you. It did. I'm sure it did. It tortures me, and I have to do it. I mean, it tortured you. Tortured any of you that had to do it. But I hope now you see that there were people watching that crap and buying into every bit of it. Do you know what CNN, MSNBC, and Fox, the main criteria for hiring a host, on-camera host is? Do y'all know what that is? It's in the industry. It's widespread in the industry. It's called the believability quotient. Believability quotient. That's what they asked. When they're interviewing for somebody to go on air, one of the first things they deal with is their believability quotient. And oftentimes, I don't know how much they do it now, but used to, they would set up 10, 12 people they'd pick up off the street, and they'd bring the person interviewing in, and they'd get in front of them, and they would give them something to read, basically, of the news that was true, and then they would read something in the news that they skewed, and it was not true. And the one that has the highest believability quotient is the one that could pull off the most lying stories, and the people in the audience believed them. Check it out for yourself. Believability quotient. You notice I didn't say intellect. You'll notice I didn't say brains. You notice I didn't say educated. I said believability quotient. Their ability to make the viewing audience believe whatever trash they want to put out. How do you like that?
It just feels like a lot of scumbags out there.
Mm-hmm. And then you will not believe the number of people that I have worked with, hosts, reporters for many conservative publications. And you know, you really think you got a buddy, somebody that really is on your side and wants to get the truth out. Doesn't take long until they stab you in the back, most of them. But I can give you a story of one recently. There was a guy, they called him on Fox, called him Campaign Carl. Campaign Carl. And during election season, he would call me all the time. As he'd go around to the different places. I think Steve Ducey or Gucci's son does it now instead of Campaign Carl, but he would go around with all the candidates and do little reporting from where they would speak. Campaign Carl. But he was conservative, you would think. Well, come to find out, he lost his job with Fox, and now he's on MSNBC, or with MSNBC. He even wrote a book about how dirty Fox is. You know, how it's, anyway, he's turned on. And by the way, he's turned on us. You see, his loyalty was with his paycheck. His paycheck. Another story. Mike Isikoff. How many of you have heard of Mike Isikoff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Mike Isikoff is the one that Comey and them leaked the dossier to. It was Mike Isikoff. And Mike Isikoff knew that the dossier was bogus, just like all of them did. But he went ahead, broke the story, and started all of this stuff. Now, let's go back a few years with Mike Isikoff. Mike Isikoff worked for the Washington Post. And when Clinton was president, Isikoff, early on in Clinton's presidency, would come, and it was like his job was to be around me and stay on top of the things I was doing to Clinton. And he finally got to the point to where he wrote one article. He wrote one article. And that article was basically saying, you know, this guy Nichols, it turns out, has been telling the truth all along about Bill Clinton. Ran in the Washington Post. The next week, Isikoff was fired. Well, he wasn't worried because he was Mike Isikoff and he had worked for the Washington Post, had gained quite a reputation, so he wasn't worried. He's going to go work for somebody in the conservative market somewhere. He'd get him a good job. Told me he would. I told him, you better be careful. I don't think you will. Oh, yeah, you don't understand. My journalistic credentials are such that I'll da-da-da-da-da. 6 weeks later, Mike Isikoff still had not been able to get employment anywhere. So then he went to work for the only place that would hire him, which was Newsweek. And it so happened that Newsweek was owned by the same people that owned the Washington Post. He came to me telling me all the things that he was going to do with Newsweek, and it just so happened that I was on to the story. I'm not going to go into all of it, but I was on the story of Monica Lewinsky. And it hit me that that would be a story perfect for Newsweek because, you know, in a magazine like Newsweek, you had more lineage than you do in a newspaper. In a newspaper, you're restricted by how much space you have for your article versus all the other stuff's got to be in the newspaper. But that magazine, buddy, it could write 100 pages if it wanted to. Isikoff jumped up and down. This was the career-making story of the century. Bill Clinton, Monica Lewinsky, this whole thing. He and I worked together for about 3 months on that story. I was working at the time with Paula Jones's attorneys, her legal team. I was working with Kenneth Starr and his people. And I was trying to juggle everything to keep Linda Tripp from falling in the hands of Starr, because if she did, then they were going to seal her up and she couldn't talk. Anyway, it was just a nightmare. But I gave Isikoff the story, and he swore to me in blood nearly, that a story of this magnitude, it would run, and it would run big time. Well, I had run out of time hiding Tripp and all the stuff, secret stuff we had going on, like the dress. I mean, there was all kinds of things I was having to lie to Starr, which is a crime to do. And it was time for the story to come out. The next morning, I expected to hear that the story broke and it would be all over the news everywhere. Next morning, I get a phone call, and it says, "Call." I said, "Mike, did the story break?" And he just, well, no. And then it hit me, and I said, "No, don't tell me." He said, "Yeah, I got to." They won't let me run it. They spiked the story. Mike Isikoff. Great. Don't doubt his journalistic integrity. Not Isikoff. No. Except when he had 6 weeks without a job, he learned what he had to do. Now, it just so happened that Isikoff had given me access to this computer thing where he was typing up the story all along so I could proofread it. And I had been working and talking with this guy out in California. He lives in a one-room apartment, kind of a dorky guy, kind of weird. But he listened to George Putnam and me intensely, and he had an idea, and he started doing it. Well, when this story fell through with Newsweek, I picked up the phone, and I called him and said, "I got the story for this century, and this will make you be somebody." Well, he was so excited just to get to work with me. And I gave him the link to Isikoff's story. Basically, he just took it down off of his thing, changed a few words, but he took it down right out of Isikoff's machine. Broke the story. The guy that ended up breaking the story, that did become a career-making story, was a guy named Matt Drudge. Matt Drudge. To this day, Matt Drudge seems to be one of a few that has not turned against everybody in the interest of profit and money. But he's very few, one of very few.
That story's in the book, folks. Actually, both of them are.
I'm telling you, folks, we are in the battle of a lifetime. This is a defining moment. in the history of the United States of America. And God has blessed each one of us. We have been chosen. We have. We've been chosen to fight in it. So I suggest that you get your suit of armor out and dust it off and get it on. Because we got to win. If we don't win, the future is certain. And they are pulling every trick in the book. They're even doing things, folks, that 10 years ago, even I would have said they wouldn't do. Maybe not 10, maybe 20 years ago, I would have said they wouldn't do. You could have never made me believe. You could not have made me believe that people would literally destroy this nation just to keep a job or to get one. Well, we have become that nation now. And that's why President Trump is so unique. He don't need that job. He don't need to be president. He don't need it. He didn't need it before he got it. He doesn't need it now, and he ain't going to need it when he's through. All the man is trying to do is make America great again. That's all he's trying to do. And he's got the business acumen. He's got the street smarts to do it. But he cannot do it alone. Not against the enemies that we've got. Because he's fighting for us. And we have got to fight for him. We got to. We don't have a choice. You don't have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
And when they call us racist, wear the title proudly then. All right? Just wear it proudly. If they call us white nationalists, wear the title proudly. We know what we're not. We know we're not racist. We're not. But,
one interruption. I mentioned that these stories are in the book. The book is not available in PDF. It is available on Kindle through Amazon, or the paperback you can get through us. You can go to nicholslive.com and order it there, or you can text 240-499-6729 and get it. And I'll get it.
Now, I have hogged the program, so anyway, anybody got any questions in Maryland?
Yeah, we got a bunch of questions. So I've got to scroll away to the beginning. Sorry. Why would Epstein care to let the women get the money?
I don't know. I'm just telling you what he did makes it easier for them to get it. Did he do that knowingly? I don't know.
Okay.
No one knows.
Are sleepers real?
Or what?
Sleepers.
Sleeper cells? Yes.
Okay.
If that's what you're referring to.
I would imagine that's what she's referring to. How come there's been no information about a funeral for Epstein?
Don't know that one.
If he's dead, will the big guys get off?
Mm-hmm. Everybody in this black book will get off. Unless in one of the civil actions brought against his trust or his estate, if one of the civil actions produces the name of a big time person as being involved, that can access the door for Barr to go after him criminally. Short of that, no.
Okay. Another person asking again about Hillary running. We've covered that many times, and
Mhm.
no. What do you think of giving veterans preferential hiring opportunities with police?
I think that's a great idea. I think it's great.
Many Americans are in complete denial. They don't believe this could happen in the U.S.
That is absolutely right. That is absolutely right. However, the good news to that end is many of that group of people that feel that way fall under the category of the Democrats' soft base. And they're not going to vote. They just won't vote. They think all this is bunk and they'll just not vote.
Lucky for us.
Yes. Now, not all of them, but some of them. And every vote we can get to not vote for the Democrat is good for us.
Yep. Do you think Russian submarines are still off our coastlines ready to attack in the near future?
They are off our coastline. I do not believe they are in the attack mode. Our military knows they're there, and we have ours off their coast. So they're there, but there's not an attack mode for them as yet. Could change tomorrow, I suppose, but it's not yet.
Do you know where Epstein's body is?
Do not.
Is the main focus Christians versus the whole country?
What?
Is the main focus of the deep state targeting Christians versus the whole country? You didn't clarify completely, James, your question.
Well, I think it would be better. It would better be said the deep state, progressive council, whatever you want to call it, they are inclined to want the whole world to be against Christians. They want to turn people against Christians, make Christians be nutbags. But thanks to the preachers today, the Christian community has been so neutered down to where it's not much of a force in itself anymore. What you got? What else?
We got lots of comments. Trying to get down to another question. How long do you think it'll be before Rocket Man in North Korea will start firing missile tests, and will Trump deal with him in the second term?
Well, I don't think he will be firing anything soon, other than his little testing things that he does to test his engines. But to be honest, Rocket Man has nothing really to fire. He's still working to get a consistent 3-stage ballistic missile to work. It has not worked yet. His people haven't been able to get it to work. But even if they get it to work, they have not been able as yet, according to the latest intelligence I know about, they have not been able to miniaturize the nuclear warhead. And unless you do that, you can't shoot it off at distance, long range. Now, they can certainly deliver one to Japan, South Korea.
Do you think Trump will win?
In 2020?
Yep.
Right now, I'm going to tell you, don't be upset, but it's like 55 to 45 right now that he will not win. Most of the time people say 60-40, I'm saying 55-45. It is right now a toss-up it's a toss-up with the edge going to the Democrats because they are using proactive, aggressive sweeteners to buy different groups of voters, blocks of voters.
Yeah.
The Republicans can't do that.
Do you believe Kathy O'Brien?
No. I do not. I have met her, and what a routine she puts on.
Is the coup still ongoing?
Is what?
The coup.
Yes, very much so.
Is this Obama's attempt at a third term?
Mm-mm. No. There will not be a third term if they win as such. It'll be a whole different style of government, a whole different form of government. There may be a president, but he will not be president like we've known presidents to be. There will be a committee, essentially, that will run everything, and that committee will be comprised of, guess what? Whoever the congressmen and senators are when this thing goes down, they will be a part of the elitist group that runs the country. Part of it. Now, they'll not be the brain trust, but they'll be the government for life, as long as they stay in line.
So there are two interesting comments. One couple people are saying if Trump loses, there'll be civil war. And another person says he won't win unless he gets some arrests going, because it seems like
unless he gets what going?
Arrests. It seems like he's in no hurry to arrest anybody.
Look, the arrest part of all of this, y'all have got to understand, it's not him not being in a hurry to arrest anybody. You can't arrest anybody right now because if you arrest them, you've got to go to court, and you go to court. If you're not careful, you get in a rigged court and we lose everything. Mm-hmm. Now, they are being patient on purpose. We've got a crooked judicial system, extremely crooked, bought off. They're already communist. They're running our judicial system like communism, like they do in communist countries. Hell, they could arrest Comey, for example, tomorrow. They could arrest him tomorrow. What are you going to do then? You got to take him to court. He's guaranteed a swift and speedy trial. That'll kill us. Get him in a swift and speedy trial, and we get before a judge that's rigged. Comey walks, and we never get to go at him again.
And that, folks, is something we need to be talking about. Do you understand, American expat? That is why we don't see things happening, because there's no honest court to go into.
There may be an honest court, but you got to find a way to get jurisdiction issues to that honest court if one exists.
Yeah. Okay, next question. Do you believe the adrenochrome stories about Hillary and other Illuminati people?
What?
Do you believe the adrenochrome stories?
I don't know what they are. What do they say?
That the adrenochrome is where you torture a child and that makes their adrenaline rise, and then you drink their blood.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say she would, because I don't know that she would do something like that. But at the same time, if there's ever been anybody that would do something like that, she certainly would. So I don't know. Just put that one as I have absolutely no idea.
All right, this same American expat is saying Trump deserves a loss if he doesn't arrest anybody soon because he's lost my vote. So I need to talk about that.
Then I tell you what, the expat, just go vote for Democrat. Go do it.
And let socialism come in on your vote.
You bet. You bet.
Because, you know, our choice is socialism or Trump. And
you know, and I don't like it, folks, when somebody makes threatening statements like that. Don't do that to me. Don't you do that shit to me. No. Don't. You don't want to vote for Trump? Don't vote for Trump. As far as I'm concerned, you can rot in hell. When this whole thing goes down, I want you to rot in hell for all eternity for destroying the one good thing on planet Earth. And you chipped in to destroy it simply because Trump didn't adhere to your timetable, what you think has to be done. Hell, I've been sitting here telling you for months nearly the problem why they can't arrest people is not because crimes were committed. It's not because they don't have certain elements of proof certainly sufficient enough to take somebody before a court. Well, what the hell do you think I've been saying? You know, Mary Ellen, what have I been saying all these months about the legal system? What have I been saying? It's crooked.
Every day, over and over and over and over, that the courts are rigged. And if you told us that when they said that you could go ahead and arrest Comey for lying, you said we can't do that. And you have told us that if you go into court, they'll put a gag order on all the evidence and block it, and there will be nothing anybody can do. And no, we're not telling you who to vote for, but what we are telling you that if you vote for a Democrat, you are voting for socialism.
That's right.
That is the plan.
Anybody expatriate, and that's what the hell you are, expatriate. You're certainly not one now, acting like this. Look, I don't care who you vote for, as long as you understand what you're doing, and I don't think you do. Whichever candidate comes out of the Democratic primary as the candidate, that candidate, although they will disavow socialism, they will be the spearhead for socialism, turning this country into a socialist nation, which they will do in 6 months to a year from the minute they take office. Now, if you want to vote for somebody other than Trump that's conservative, fine, go ahead and vote for the Democrat. Because if you split Trump's vote up to some other person that claims to be a conservative, that vote comes off of Trump. When that vote comes off of Trump, well, shit, go ahead and give it to the Democrat, because that's what you did. That's what you did. I'm not asking you to pick a candidate. I'm asking you to pick a damn country. I'm asking you, what in the hell has our representative constitutional form of government ever done to hurt you? That you seem so quick to want to dump it on the side of the road for my grandchildren, children, all of our children and grandchildren.
All right. I think, expat, this is not an appropriate place for you to enjoy having a conversation because...
yeah, I'd rather you just not show your ass up here anymore.
Yeah. I don't know how to block her. I would.
Now just look. Just don't pay any attention to her, folks.
Yeah.
That is probably, folks, that is a troller or whatever you call them. She's just there to cause trouble.
Yeah. It's upsetting because I don't know how to hide.
Don't worry about it. Just don't recognize her. And folks, when she puts crap on the chat room, just don't read it. When you see her name, just don't read it. She's trash.
So what do you think will be the end game after a Trump second term?
After a Trump second term?
Yeah, if Trump wins, what'll be the end game, you know, after? In other words,
the end game for Trump, for his term, will be that he will use this coming election in 2020 to galvanize support for us from the Republicans, even the rhinos. They're scared. They're not going. They'll do what they got to do, even if they don't want to. And then hopefully Trump will take steps to transfer back to the states as many issues and policies and things back to the state that belong to the state and out of the hands of the federal government. And hopefully he will straighten up swiftly the judicial system. And then you just have to pray. You just have to pray that there will be another such person in the wings when Trump turns up that can carry the torch. And it will not be Pence.
Okay, I am turning off the comments, folks. I've heard enough of this. If I can turn them off, I will. I don't know if I can.
What are you talking about? That person's filling up the chat room with their crap?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry those kind of people are out there.
Yeah, I don't know how to turn it off. I will find out.
Well,
I did that better wave. I did click on the icon and that didn't help. So what it
no, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And folks, don't y'all worry about it. There are going to be creeps like this we're going to run into every day. We're not going to knuckle down to a creep like this. Just don't recognize her. When you see her trash, just look away. Don't read it. You don't have to. Nobody's making you read the crap that person put. Pretty soon you see that name, you know what they're up to. They're out there to try to destroy this program, to get it off focus. It's not going to happen. I'm letting it happen now because I want to make an example of it. Guys, this is what we're going to run into. What do you think this is about? This is about people that are as stupid as that person is. And they're going to argue and they're going to fight with us. But we don't back down. We don't have to back down. No, ma'am, we don't.
We've got a lot of people putting comments in that agree with you, Larry, so that's good. No, Paul, that did not work. I tried that. All that did was put a comment on the...
Well, look, with that particular person named Chris, what's going to happen if you block her with ex-Pat, she'll become new Pat. And then she'll become Joe Bean. Then she'll become everything else. Look, guys, there are going to be trolls that try to interfere with what we're doing. And as we get more and more advanced, they're going to get more and more trolls on us. You can't run from it. You can't hide from it. But we've got to prove that we can take people barging in with this kind of stupid comments, that we can take it. And from this day forward, they come in, we just don't recognize them. You'll see them, but there's nothing you can do about it. Just don't pay attention to it. But we're not going to run from them. We're not going to break our necks trying to block them, because in this world of the internet, you can block one name, they'll change it and start another one.
And we've had people trolling like this for 3 years. So
yeah,
ever since I've been with Larry, they've been there.
I want to hear all of y'all. I want to hear all of y'all stand up and say you don't care about these kind of people. These people are not going to stop this program. These kind of people, that kind of person is not going to stop us from trying to save this country. Let me hear you say it. Say it.
So let's move on. They're asking us to move on. Would Ted Cruz make a good successor?
No way. No way. I say that not because I personally have anything against Ted Cruz. There was one thing that came up in the election in 2016. His wife was running around the country. That wasn't Ted Cruz himself, it was his wife. But she was running around the country at fundraisers, and she was telling people that he would become the first president of the Americas. In other words, unifying Central and America and all of us under one flag. So no. But let's also remember that was his wife, and let's judge his record, not what people say about it. He's got a record now. Look at that record, and if the record is clean, then we treat him as such. What else?
All right, that's the last question, Larry.
Okay. All right, folks.
Well, I'm with you. The person doesn't deserve any of our time. Just keep moving. The truth is more important.
Yes, it is.
Leave the chat on and don't let the troll control. We're here to hear you, and we don't care about these other people. So
good. And that's the way it should be wherever you go. Whoever you listen to, whatever program, there will be from now until they transform our form of government. Just get used to it from now until the day they win, if they do. They're going to do more and more of this. It's going to get worse. And anybody that dare to stand up and speak the truth and speak out for this country and trying to save this country, they're going to dedicate people to come out and try to block it or stop it. So just don't be afraid of it. It's coming. It's going to get worse. Not better, worse.
Here, Paul's suggesting that Ben Carson would be a great.
I think he would myself, but then again, I don't know. I don't know. Now, he would not be the fighter that President Trump has been, but let's hope that if Trump wins in 2020, maybe the fighting part will not be as needed at the end of his second term.
Well, he was suggesting Ben Carson for Surgeon General.
Oh, okay. Yes, I have no problem with that.
Yeah, he's good working with where he is because he grew up in Detroit, and so he knows.
Mm-hmm. And he'll be the first to tell you, and I do not know him, but I've spoken with him, he'll be the first to tell you that cleaning up the inner city problems is not going to be easy. Not easy because no matter how much money you throw at the people, if the people don't stand up and try to improve their lives, and they're not going to improve. And money won't do it. You'll be the first to tell you that.
Isn't it collusion when you've got 2020 candidate Perez campaigning in Mexico? I heard he was there.
No, there is no legal. There's no law for collusion. And what that person did, I don't even know who you're talking about, but for them to go to Mexico, what they'll do is they will go and call on any American citizens and to have a fundraiser in Mexico, which I have done before. You have to have verification proof of either, citizenship or something proving that it's an American citizen before you're allowed to take their money.
Like everybody does that, right?
Mm-hmm. But of course, in Mexico, the thing we used to do, which was clever, you have to be an American citizen to give money to a candidate. But it's virtually impossible, or used to be in Mexico, to track where the person that gives the money got the money to give to the candidate. So a cartel could give the American the money to give to the candidate.
What a racket.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Larry, it's been an hour and 20 minutes. I can hear your voice going. So
yeah, and I've got to do Pastor Sanders tonight.
Yeah.
9 o'clock my time.
Okay, let me talk about that. I'm going to type.
I'm going to go. Let me get on off, and to all of you, thank you.
Okay.
Have a good day. See you, and you tell them the rest. Bye-bye.
I'm going to type in the chat. Larry will be on at 10 Eastern, 9 Central with Pastor Sanders. Now, to get there, his program is called What's Right, What's Left. And to get to listen, you go to www.wrwl.org. What's Right, What's Left, wrwl.org. And then you scroll down and click on 1220 a.m. And then you'll also click on Listen Live. They have a little commercial first. There were several people in the chat yesterday who mentioned donating to Larry, wanted to know how, and said they were going to. He told me about one person who sent something pretty quickly after the program. I don't know about anybody else. Would he be okay with Bush getting indicted? Well, of course he would. He wants all the evildoers dealt with. So back to donations. I don't know if the other people who said in the chat yesterday that they were going to donate did it or not. If you want to buy the book 28 Years to Nowhere, you can get that at www.nicholslive.com, or you can text 240-499-6729 and ask about how to get it. We can get you an autographed copy. I have ones here that are just signed, autographed by me. I don't have Larry's autograph on. I think maybe I have a couple, but Larry's friend, I think, still has a few left that he has that he can run over to. He can run over to Larry to get signature. There's a donate button donate link on nicholslive.com that goes to his PayPal, which is nicholslive@aol.com. That's his account at PayPal, nicholslive@aol.com. I know Larry promised not to beg for money, so I'm not begging, but I know there are people that want to do something if they can, and so I'm just giving you some ideas. The website has his mailing address. You can mail cash to him. If you need to send a check, money order, cashier's check, anything like that, Larry has no way to cash it. So use the text phone number 240-499-6729, and you can text and ask. Don't forget a paw print. Okay, you lost me, Kat. I'm not sure what that is. Thank you for being here, and God bless you. And hopefully you can listen tonight to Larry, and I'll be listening. So, and you can also call in. There is a phone number they will give out, and you can call in and talk directly to Larry too. So, I guess that's it, Kata. I'm not sure what you're mentioning about a paw print, so you can text me and ask. Oh, Larry's dog. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to Rosie. She ended up very, very quiet. Maybe his wife came home and took her out or something. I have no idea. Yeah, dear Rosie, love her. Autograph book. Go to nicholslive.com and click on merchandise, and you can order the book there. Otherwise, you can call the phone number that's listed under the donation page and send a text to that, and I'll make sure you get one. So, all right, folks, that's it for today. And you can hear Larry's voice, which always means when it gets that gravelly that he's going to need some help, some meds and so on. So thanks a lot. God bless you. And Larry, get rest. He rests if he can. Tell you something funny. They did a scan on him at night one time and said his brain was more active than everybody else's during the day. So he kind of works nonstop. Bless his heart. So thanks for being here, and thanks for everything you do to help support and make sure you're talking to people about Never Socialism, because we just had an experience of what's happening with people who just can't believe that it's coming. So God bless you. Bye.